And amid India-Canada standoff, India's tough talk at UNHRC, India recommended Canada to take action against extremist groups, hate speech amid the diplomatic tensions between the two nations. So, amid the rising diplomatic tension between India and Canada, India has taken a stand at UNHRC, and it has in fact recommended Canada to take action against the extremist groups' hate speech. And this is the latest input that we are getting as far as the tensions, the diplomatic tensions between India and Canada are concerned. Let's listen in to some reactions on this.
We note the enactment of National Housing Strategy Act, Accessible Canada Act, and the National Strategy to Combat Human Trafficking. In the spirit of constructive dialogue, India recommends the following to Canada. 1. Further strengthen the domestic framework to prevent misuse of freedom of expression for inciting violence and disallow activities of groups which are promoting extremism. 2. Effectively prevent attacks on places of worship of religious and racial minorities, strengthen legislative and other measures to address hate crimes and hate speech. 3. Put an end to structural discrimination against children belonging to indigenous groups and address disparities in access to services by all children. We wish the delegation of Canada all success. I thank you.
And CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha is joining us on this story. Abhishek, amid the rising diplomatic tension between India and Canada, India's tough talk at UNHRC.
Well, the proposal which India has talked about was presented during the UN Human Rights Council review meeting, where diplomats from other countries like India, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka also shared their insight and recommendation as to how Canada can fortify its policies that will work for more peace and social harmony. The Indian side has said that we note the enactment of the National Housing Strategy Act, Accessible Canada Act, and National Strategy to Combat Human Trafficking. And India also recommended that Canada strengthen its domestic framework to prevent the misuse of freedom of expression, particularly for inciting violence. And we know that has come in the context of several threats and intimidation that Palestini groups or Palestini sympathizers have been doing in Canada against Indian community, against Indian establishment, and against Indian diplomats present in Canada. So in that context, India's statement at United Nations Human Rights Council holds importance, that it has tried to highlight Canada's stance on this freedom of expression, and in the pretense of freedom of expression, how several groups are using violence as a means to achieve their goals in Canada.
All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us all those details. And with that, we're now slipping into a very short break. We'll be right back.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.